Almost at the conclusion of the group stage of this Taom Shootout Grand Finals in Aberdeen. Both of these players are out, but if you want an exhibition match, it's not a bad choice, is it? Dennis Taylor and Liam Dunster. Liam's won 2 of these Taom Shootout events. Dennis has potted the white and doesn't really need me to tell you what he has achieved with a cue in his hand.
This could be a very entertaining 20 minutes. Number 1 player in the game right now against Dennis Taylor. There may not be much pressure on this match. Both will want to entertain. Free shot after the foul off the break, so there's still colours to be assigned. Means he can still take reds if he wants to. Which he has. Clever opening shot. Actually, nice way of opening up the reds, and these reds are really sitting very nicely for him. Just has to be careful to make sure he hits the gap of the 2 yellows, lands on his next ball. And now it's whichever order you want to take them in. They're all lined up, ready and waiting. Been a really disappointing event for Liam Dunster. Never really got into the event at all. Lost his opening match to Alan Dixon, 3 frames to 2. And then was in a 3-3 draw with Chris Melling, which was a very entertaining match that Liam had to scrap to get the draw in. At one point from his first 2 matches was not really what he was looking for. And then he drew against George Tierney as well, 2 frames all, when he missed a black down the rail, when it looked certain he was going to get the points and keep himself in the hunt.
Ominous start for Dennis Taylor in off the break. This the end result. 1-0 Liam Dunster in 2.5 minutes.
Dennis Taylor came here with no expectations, came here to entertain the crowds, and that he has done. Didn't really know the rules before he started. I'm not entirely sure he knows them. Now we're into his 4th match. He lost his opening match 4-1 to Alan Dixon, and then he was in a very entertaining match with Chris Melling, where he actually found himself 2-0 ahead and had great opportunities to go further ahead that he couldn't take. Ended up losing 3-2, and then just lunchtime. It's just this lunchtime he lost 4-0 to George Tierney. Well, that is how you cut break. That's huge.
Yeah, I'll call this already. That's 2-0.
This could be quicker. Not sure he has. I think he's just come far enough. Wants to play the red to the middle first. I said they were lined up nicely for him in the first frame. That's an understatement in this frame.
Perfectly played. And it is 2-0 in 5 minutes. Liam giving a lesson to the 1985 World Snooker Champion. Dunster leads Dennis 2-0. And Dennis has had one shot.
That's elite level, Paul. Sometimes you just have to sit there and watch. There's not a lot you can do when you don't get a time at the table. And as much as this Scottish crowd want to see the young Scotsman play high level, Paul, I think they'd love to see him give Dennis Taylor a little bit of table time here.
Second shot of the match for Dennis Taylor. Threatening to play with the butt end of his cue. Won't make much difference the way Liam's going about his business. Oh, he's short again.
And dry once again. Cannot get his hand on the table in this match.
Didn't move the black at all.
The first couple of frames, they were lined up beautifully, and you fully expected Liam to make the clearance. This time he's going to have to work harder. Not the greatest of splits, congested around that black, which, as you say, has not moved from its spot. He's going to have to work very hard to make this clearance.
And he's already on the cushion. So you sense Dennis will have a bit more involvement in this frame. So just rolls the yellow over the pocket to cover it. Over to you, Den. In she goes. And as has become his trademark in this Taom Shootout, Dennis just gets down, pots the first ball he has a look at and sees where he ends up. Oh, he's missed that. Missed it by a long way.
A surprising miss from Dennis. He's just trying to work out whether he would have a chance to clear up. Overcuts the red. For Dennis, you'd like to see the frames being a bit more wide open. He doesn't want to get into a tactical battle with Liam Dunster. He just wants to get an open opportunity. Oh, he's going to entertain us with a trick shot. Top cushion, side cushion.
He was definitely going for that one, wasn't he?
Well, it's worked. It's definitely worked. This is the final group match in Group 2. 2 qualifiers already decided. Chris Melling topped the group, being a standout performer throughout the weekend. Alan Dixon, who came through that effectively knockout match with George Tierney, and he's second with 6 points. George Tierney third, Liam Dunster fourth, and Dennis Taylor in fifth. Well, that's made things interesting in this frame. Dennis really getting a foothold in it.
He's enjoying his chats during the match. Don't know if he's just getting some guidance.
Yeah, he could well be asking for the best options of the next shot and what the rules might be.
Well, that was a deliberate shot to cannon in yellow and red to dislodge his other yellow. It's kept the break going. It's a very tricky pot, this. But if this goes in, then that shot could have won him the frame. And he's used the yellow very nicely.
This looks like 3-0. Nice little angle just to get on across to the left-hand side of the table.
Yeah, just needs to make sure he screws behind those two reds and black. Which is exactly how he's played it. And then the natural angle to swing round for the black, and 3-0. Complete performance from Liam Dunster. He'll be gutted he wasn't able to produce this earlier on in the tournament.
No mistakes with the black, and it is 3-0 to Liam Dunster. I think for me it just shows how important that first match of the group stages can be. Got off to a slow start and just hasn't been able to recover. It's a big surprise that Liam hasn't made it through to knockout stages. He's been winning titles everywhere he goes. That's why he's the #1 player at the moment. Finished off the IPA season with 3 consecutive pro titles. Made the final of the Masters, semi-final of the Premier League, retained the Champions Cup, and that's just on the IPA. What he does up in Scotland and around the country and international events, there's more and more titles. Don't think anyone in the world of pool plays more than Liam Dunster either.
Looked like he might have come at dry there. Final yellow rolls down. And first opportunity to move towards frame and match.
The way Liam's played so far in this match, you fear the worst for Dennis Taylor and the crowd who want to see more of him. A little bit short of intended position on this yellow to the bottom right. This will take all his attention.
Oh, he's cueing so nicely. It makes such a difference to a player when you have a lead. Far less pressure on each shot. The fluency of the cueing comes through. How many shots has Dennis had all match? 4?
Yeah, it's a
2 breaks and 2 other visits.
Yeah, a handful at most, 4 or 5. Not a lot he could have done. Liam Dunster's just been brilliant in this match.
Poor old Dennis. Lost his first 2 yesterday. Should have beaten Chris Melling, the best man in the competition. He's come back today. 2 more games against George Tierney and Liam Dunster, and he's been whitewashed in both. 4-0, 4-0. Devastating from Dunster. Farewell to Dennis Taylor. It's been great having him here. The crowd have loved having him here. Well done to the organisers for getting Dennis here as well. We hope to see him again, but Liam Dunster's tournament is done as well. At least he's signed off at a high with a 4-0 win. 2 matches to go in the group stages. Only 1 place left in the quarter-finals. It's Simon Fitzsimmons or Mark Boyle to go through from group number 3. And guess what? They're playing each other, and that's after the break. George Riley with you alongside Simon Webb in the commentary box. And we've got a big game now. Mark Boyle, there he is. Against Simon Fitzsimmons, the bouncer. Both battling for the final place in tonight's quarterfinals. And it'll be the winner of this who will take it. 1 match still to play after this afternoon. Darren Matthew, Martin McIntosh, both of those players through. That'll be to decide who goes through as group winner. It's the winners who get drawn against the runners-up in the draw to take place at 7 o'clock. That will be away from our live coverage. We'll be off air between the conclusion of these 2 matches and our resumption for the quarterfinals at 8 o'clock. We'll go off air on Freesports TV, but you won't miss a thing when we're back. The draw